What's going on my fantasy football fans out there? Welcome to Waiver Wire Queen's channel. I want to give some brief updates on injuries, players I love, players you should consider picking up this week for week 5 to help you uh, compete. It's getting hard out there, especially on the waiver wire. Several injuries. There's a lot going on, but let's talk about some players that I really love. I really love this week. I'm going to start off with Cordero Patterson. Really love Patterson this week. I'm mad that I've told people to pick him up, but hell, I ain't even go pick him up. He's not available in any of my leagues. He's probably 100% owned at this point, but I really love him this week versus the Jets for 2 reasons. He's playing the Jets. Okay, no, 3 reasons. He's playing the Jets. That's huge. Calvin Ridley is out. And number 3, he's the best running back on the team. Okay, so he has 3 great things going for him week 3, which I love. Jets defense isn't that good. They're lining Patterson up all over the football field right now. Backfield, slot, everywhere. He is right now their best offensive player because Ridley, they're doubling him. Pitts, same for Pitts. And they're going to Cordero Patterson a whole lot. And you can expect a big game from him this week. Similar to last week. Maybe not as many fantasy points, but he's going to have a hell of a week this week. So if you have him, I'm hating, god daggone it. I'm hating on you if you have Cordero Patterson this week. However, you got to do what you got to do, right? So if you have Cordero Patterson starting with confidence, obviously he's a must start every week. And you also take advantage of matchups and Ridley being out. Now it's going to be an early game, so y'all going to have to get up for that one. But nonetheless, this should be a really good game, and Patterson should produce. 2 players I love on the Vikings. They're going to have bounce back weeks this week. Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson. Love those 2 guys. Those 2 guys are really good. They're consistent. Last week was a tough week versus the Browns. No one has been playing well versus the Browns, and Kirk Cousins stunk it up. He didn't have a good week. No one on the Vikings had a good week. Cook, questionable. I do believe he's going to play. He'll play well. They're playing the Detroit Lions team that is just really not that good, and you can expect Thielen to get back on track, and you damn sure can expect Jefferson to get back on track. These 2 guys are going to play really well. So if you have them, start them with confidence. There should be no issues this week. I have both of these guys in the league, and I am excited for the matchup. Again, take advantage of matchups. These guys are pretty much matchup proof, I guess, unless it's the Browns. But no, this should be a really good game because the Lions, it's just really not that good. We all know that. So if you got these guys, no issues this week. Nice bounce back week coming for these guys. And one more player I really love this week is Zach Moss. He's actually the running back I prefer in that backfield between him and Singletary. Singletary has been solid in regards to yardage. He's going to get you yardage. However, he's not getting any touchdowns. I need some touchdowns from him. Okay. On the other hand, Zach Moss is starting to outsnap him over the last 2 weeks, and he looks better, and he's getting the touches. So I like Moss versus the Chiefs. I'm not 100% sold on that defense. The Bills defense have a better defense than the Chiefs. However, obviously Moss is on the Bills. So I feel like out of those 2 backs, Moss is the back to have going forward. And he's going to have a really good week versus the Chiefs, y'all. So go on and start them with confidence. If you got both of them, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, Moss, put Moss in your damn starter lineup. Okay. I actually have Singletary. Not starting him this week. Okay, y'all, let's move right along and talk about some injuries. My goodness. Let's talk about injuries to the tight end position. Okay, so Gronk is out this week. Um, Logan Thomas is on IR. Don't know when he's going to return. He should at some point this season. However, he's definitely out this week. And George Kittle is, not questionable. He is doubtful. Doubtful does not ever lead to playing the day before, the game. So doubtful is most likely going to mean out. So now it's late in the game and you have to consider who to play. If you don't have any reliable backup tight ends, you're going to have to consider whoever may still be on the waiver wire. We all know that Dalton Schultz is pretty much a hot player and he's damn near owned. So if he's out there, it's a small percentage. I was actually able to pick him up in the league, which was shocking to me. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go pick him up. If y'all not gonna do it, so I'm gonna do it. So I picked him up. So that was a rare occasion because he's just simply no longer available. So if he is, then pick him up and he should be able to help you this week. If not, you need to look at Dawson Knox, the tight end for the Bills. He's been solid for the first 4 games of the season, and I expect him to be solid this week for you. I mean, you got to do what you have to do. If you don't have a reliable backup to replace those 3 guys, then, you got to do what you got to do out here in these fantasy football streets. Work the wire, and we, adjust to injuries. And adding Dawson Knox to help you until these guys return to full health is not a bad idea. It's not a bad option. He's been really good so far this season, so you can consider him. The Jacksonville Jaguars traded for Dan Arnold. He played last Thursday. Didn't play a lot because he had just been traded for the beginning of the week, so you wasn't going to expect much from him. He definitely has to learn that playbook. You should start seeing him play more for Jacksonville, because to me, he is the best tight end on the roster right now. And you have a rookie quarterback. He's going to be that security blanket, and he's going to be reliable. So you may want to look at him if you are just like desperate and you don't have any options. It is what it is. You may not have options, and Arnold may be your best option. May surprise you. Cameron Brate, Gronk's backup. He played wasn't that good. It was the Patriots. Patriots have a really good defense. I expect him to have a solid game this week versus the Dolphins. So Brate is available. And if you had Gronk, maybe you want to pick up Brate and consider him. He may help your team this week, okay? You got to adjust week to week. We taking it week by week, y'all. And injuries are starting to pile up. Several guys are out. Brate is a nice play this week, so consider him. Jared Cook, he's a player I don't love Jared Cook because he is so inconsistent. So he had a good game last week, so he may not have a good game this week. He's like every other game. So if you are desperate at tight end, he's definitely someone who is still available and may be able to help your team this week. You are not going to be able to find the production that Gronk has been producing for you if you didn't pick up someone like Dalton Schultz, who has been really good so far this season. But you can find players to help you, okay? You got to lower your expectations. You're not going to find what Gronk's been doing at the tight end position via the waiver wire, but you can find players who will help you get through this week, and hopefully he'll be back in a few more weeks. And that's what it is. You want to add players who will help you until your guys come back. Max Williams may be a nice play this week. He's had 2 solid games this season, and they're throwing the ball a lot. I expect this to be a really good game. And Max Williams may be able to help you if you can't get some of those other guys I mentioned. Again, lower your expectations. It's a crapshoot. However, you still need somebody who's capable of getting you some points. You're not going to get Gronk's production via the waiver wire, but you can get someone who will help you get through this week. That's what it's about, y'all. And Tyler Conklin. He is the tight end for the Vikings. The Vikings are playing the Detroit Lions, who have been terrible this season. So if you can't get some of those guys I mentioned earlier, or some of the guys I mentioned earlier this week, Conklin may end up getting you 7, 8 fantasy points. It's better than zero. We don't do zeros, okay? Because we just didn't work the wire. We don't do zero. So Conklin may be someone who can help your team this week. So consider some of those guys. Let's talk about running back. So obviously Carson didn't play. He has a neck issue. He's day to day right now. So early on in the week, I said pick up Alex Collins. If you did, good. If you didn't, and Wednesday come around next week, pick him up and handcuff him. If you are a Chris Carson owner, this is an interesting injury. It's scary. Neck issues are serious, and you need to take it serious. I don't care if it's something that's been chronic and it's been going on for a while. It's serious, and I would definitely consider handcuffing Alex Collins to Chris Carson for the remainder of the season. And he didn't look too bad versus a really good Rams defense. So he'll probably be better in the weeks to come. But if you are a Chris Carson owner and you didn't have the opportunity to pick up Alex Collins, trust he is still out there. Pick him up, okay? Joe Mixon, we do not know if he's going to play this week. I'm praying he play this week because I have Joe Mixon and David Montgomery. And Montgomery's obviously going to be out a few weeks. So if Joe can't go, I like that rhyme, y'all. That's what I'm talking about. If Joe can't go, his backups are Samaje Perine and Chris Evans. They are going to do a running back by committee. So for me, I would stay away from them. But if you are desperate and you can't get players like Gainwell, who is still available, if you can't get Brandon Bolden, another guy, if he's still available, pick him up. I would stay away from them. But if you are desperate, then you have to do what you have to do out here in these fantasy football streets. And Perine has more experience, so I would assume they would go with him first. But you got to keep in mind that offensive line is a hot hell of a mess. It's inconsistent. Okay, both Joes be running for their life. We want Joe Mixon to run, but when Burrow is running for his life, it's not a good thing. So if you have to add these two guys, either one of them, I would say Perine is the one, because when Joe couldn't go any longer in the game, that's who came in. And again, this is a desperate, I don't have any other options add and player to consider. Okay, so with that being said, Brandon Bolden should be a really good add this week. If you got him, good. He's still available. Pick him up, and he should have a really good game this week. Okay. Also realize that JJ Taylor fumbled the ball, so I don't think he's going to be on the field anymore. He wasn't getting a lot of time as it is. His little two touches, he about to lose those two. And Brandon Bolden, in my opinion, is obviously the James White, which means that is who Bill trusts the most. Remember, Stevenson fumbled. We haven't heard from him since. Okay, he's a healthy scratch every week, considering he looked all right in preseason, and James White is hurt. So he's gone for the season. So they went with Taylor instead, and Taylor fumbled. And you seen Brandon Bolden pick up that James White role and then some. You're going to see more of Bolden, and if JJ Taylor is probably in the same position as Stevenson right now. Healthy scratches. Harris hasn't really looked that great. However, he should be solid this week. But Brandon Bolden is a player you can get in there as a flex play, especially if you're desperate and you don't trust some of these other guys. Like, I would trust a Brandon Bolden over the two backup running backs for the Bengals due to their offensive line, and I just don't trust them. So Brandon Bolden is a nice flex play. So if you can pick him up because you have issues and you don't have anyone to help you to replace some of these guys, because let's face it, people will snatch up the players who are backing up your guys once they see them hurt, knowing that, oh, they don't have anyone to replace a Montgomery. So you got to be ahead of the game. And that's why we try to do this stuff in advance, so we are ahead and we don't have these issues. But when it comes to players like Chris Carson, who is always hurt, you always want to handcuff him with his backup. And in this case, Collins, because he's always going to be hurt, guys. Let's be real. All right. It just is what it is out here in these fantasy football streets. All right. Players I don't want to see on the field this week. I don't want to see Big Ben out there. So if you have Big Ben, he's on your bench. He's just hasn't really played well this season, and he's probably lost you some games. They are still committed to him, fine. They are, but we ain't committed anymore if we were. So I think Taylor Heineke is a nice play this week. So if you can pick him up, start him. I prefer to start him over Big Ben. Darnold should have a bounce back week this week. So go anywhere you want over Ben. And Matt Ryan has been really bad. However, he had a good game last week versus Washington football team. I think everyone is having a good game against that defense now. I think this will be a good game for him versus the Jets. So I'm confident in him this week. And he's going to be utilizing Patterson a whole lot. That is the guy that I want if I am starting anyone for the Falcons this week. So consider those guys. And then another player I wanted to mention who's I'm going to love playing him this week is A.J. Brown, returning from a hamstring injury. Keep in mind, he's returning a bit earlier than what I would have expected. So you got to keep that in mind as well. So don't get mad if he get out there and a few snaps. Oh, questionable, not going to return. However, if he's good to go, truly good to go, Julio Jones isn't playing. The tight ends have stunk it up this year. They should have just re-signed Jonnu. And he's going to be the only wide receiver that I would trust. And he should have a good game this week. So if you can not add him. If you have him, start him. Just know that he is returning from a hamstring injury. And you know how hamstring injuries work. So what are you going to do? You're going to play your guys. Guys, that's what I'm talking about. All right, y'all. Hit that like button and subscribe to Waiver Wire Queen for more on fantasy football. Peace.